Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at Kokomlem Lane, Accra, on digital address GA0993341. It's broadcasting live on Joy 99.7 FM, also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London, and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telesol 4G, proudly Ghanaian. Telesol, just a touch. UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, DigiBank, Let's Go, and Mark Auto Parts Ghana, distributors of Isuzu and Chevy cars. Mark Auto Parts Ghana with you for the long run. Coming up in this edition, minority in Parliament to drag Communications Minister before the House over the controversial StarTimes contract. We'll hear from them as their predecessor reviews the Chinese company engaged in fraudulent representation in a bid to hold on to a previous contract.
In response, several assurances were given. Shamefully, they included a fake working visit to the Ministry of Communications by a team of Chinese officials who were fraudulently introduced by the representative of StarTimes China.
National Petroleum Authority assures there will be no fuel shortage in the country as tanker drivers in the country withdraw all fuel distribution services across the country today.
Tired of their failed promises. We are not joking. We are giving government from today to Friday.
We have live updates from our reporter. Security personnel are dispatched to the Tema Oil Refinery where the drivers are agitating. President Akufo-Addo admits the Ghanaian economy is going through a difficult patch but dismisses concerns of a crisis.
Events were out of our control, but which we have to find a way to accommodate. It's not a crisis, but the difficulties that we're going through now are difficulties that the system will be able to accommodate.
We have sports.
Yes, and Normalization Committee Vice President Lucy Quest says all hands will be on deck as they seek to restructure Ghana football. Also, we begin the Joy News Safe Water Project with a tour of communities drinking very dirty water. We start from a village called Mangotideke in the Agoti-Maziope district of the Volta region.
We drink and bathe with it. It is dirty, but our only option. Sometimes we filter this water for use.
Details with me, MFA Apau. The minority in Parliament says it will drag Communications Minister Ursula Owusu-Ekufo before the House over the controversial StarTimes deal. The House will from today begin an emergency sitting to consider a number of outstanding items, including the approval of Minister Designates. Shortly, we'll hear from the minority, but former Communications Minister Dr. Edward Omanibuama has cited StarTimes for making fraudulent representations. Dr. Omanibuama, in a statement released earlier today, says StarTimes, in an attempt to hold on to a contract to build the digital terrestrial television platform, introduced some individuals as Chinese officials, which turned out to be false. So far, concerns have been raised by various individuals that government's grant of a tax waiver to StarTimes in execution of a satellite distribution contract will create an equal playing field for local players. Government, however, disagrees. There's more in the following report.
On that point as well, Giba got it totally, completely wrong. Please.
I disagree, but I'll come to that. I disagree totally.
Make a note I sat here and listened to you.
It was clear from the onset of the discussion on Newsfile that the unending disagreement between government, the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association and other individuals on what role StarTimes will be playing won't end soon.
Excuse me, who is giving sweetheart deals to Chinese companies?
You are.
You did.
You are.
You did.
Signing a $95 million deal that we do.
For the Media Foundation for West Africa, government may well end up favoring a Chinese company. Suleiman Abrahima is executive director.
Local media industries are struggling. Television companies are shutting down. Programs are being closed. And we have a situation where a tax waiver is granted to a company that is a competitor.
Former Communications Minister Dr. Edward Omanibuama wrote on Facebook, quote, Mr. President, instead of offering tax waivers to StarTimes China, your government should extend the exemption of GIBA from the payment of DTT fees as granted under the Mahama administration. End quote. It appears this may not happen as the current minister fought off such a suggestion from the Media Foundation for West Africa.
I have news for you. At that next meeting, we're going to discuss fees that you're going to be paying for being hosted hosted or after being hosted on that platform for free for over 2 years.
I would appeal that perhaps Giba need to put in some appeal on this intended decision that fees be paid because they've been hosted on the platform for free for a number of years.
That they would have to pay
to extend it. To maybe give an additional extension, particularly given the struggles that the media industry has been going through in recent times.
Well, former Communications Minister Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah wants government to make public all agreements signed with StarTimes. Here are extracts from the statement he issued earlier today.
I assumed office as Minister for Communications and worked actively and tirelessly with stakeholders with the hope of achieving 17th June 2015 deadline. In the spirit of South-South cooperation, best efforts were exerted. Cautions to StarTimes, the Chinese ambassador to Ghana and every relevant stakeholder about how lethargic the process of securing financing was delaying the project. In response, several assurances were given. Shamefully, they included a fake working visit to the Ministry of Communications by a team of Chinese officials who were fraudulently introduced by the representative of StarTimes China as being on a mission to conduct further due diligence on the DTT project. This was revealed as untrue during my meeting with the then chairman and president of the China Exim Bank in Beijing in June 2014. Chinese government is supporting StarTimes to penetrate the African market. What is the government of Ghana doing to promote Ghanaians in broadcasting? I contend that instead of adopting high-handedness as a tool to whip groups and individuals who do not support the StarTimes deal, government should consider doing the following. Immediately ensure mutually beneficial agreements with all stakeholders in order to recalibrate the pathways for the DTT process. Publish any agreements entered into with StarTimes on the 300 Villages project, and if none exist, take urgent steps to ensure appropriate regulatory oversight without providing undue advantage to StarTimes, which is already an actor in Ghanaian broadcasting. Extend the Mahama government exemption of broadcasters from paying fees while they use the DTT platform for 2 more years. Offer tax waivers on equipment to broadcasters as they have done for StarTimes, as and when the need arises.
You heard the extracts of an article written by former Communications Minister Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah. The full publication is on myjoyonline.com. You may want to read it for yourself. Now let's head to Parliament, which has been recalled for an emergency sitting. And Joseph Opoku-Gakpo has been speaking with the minority on this matter and joins us live on the line. So Joseph, do we have an official communication from the minority, and what does it say?
I've been speaking to the first Deputy Minority Whip in Parliament, Ibrahim Ahmed. He's also a member of the Communications Committee, and he explains that they have directed their members on that particular committee to seek to get the minister to appear before the committee so that then she would brief the committee on the StarTimes deal so that a report will subsequently be brought to the floor. Beyond that, and if they are unable to get the information that they need from the minister at that level of the committee, they will take that a step further and someone here before the plenary to explain issues relating to the deal.
There are a lot of outstanding issues. So that is why we from minority decided to tell the chairman that, chairman, the public may lose confidence in us if we don't act on this. And why is it that you've been voted for to come to Parliament? You come to Parliament, you have the power, you have the floor. Issues have emerged. Then you leave Parliament, then you go and you are saying it outside, where you know that you just say it and after that you don't have the authority to back it. So what prevents the committee that the standing order say that you have the oversight responsibility to call the minister and the other stakeholders to appear before us? When you appear before the Committee of Parliament, it's like you sitting before a high court. Whatever you say, you are abandoned by whatever you are going to say. And the public is going to have some credibility in that. And nothing will prevent me. Why should somebody have something to hide? And why should you also be thinking that somebody, either Esla or the chairman or who has what to hide? I should not be doing that. And that is why we say, as leaders of the committee and leaders of the House, let's do what is right. Let's call the minister. What is happening? The minister will come and brief the committee, and the committee will have what the committee doesn't understand. The committee will also have the opportunity to also put it before the minister for clarification. If that one doesn't satisfy the issue, then you can roll the other parliamentary tools either to bring her here or to go the extra mile. If that is not done, then somebody will say I'm trying to do mere mischief, which might not be the case.
Joseph, of course, we'll get more details on the StarTimes deal in our subsequent bulletins. But away from that 5-day emergency sitting, do we know exactly what's so urgent?
So there was the Minerals Development Fund bill that's been pending before the House. And this is something that came up in the budget statement that was read by the finance minister. And that bill needs to be introduced to allow for malnutrition in the royalties that are paid on various minerals that are mined in the country. So the committee will seek to get that passed so that then those amounts can be taken. It's also expected that the House will receive an official communication from the presidency on the appointment of new ministers. And the expectation again is that the House may go ahead and do the vetting and do the approval of the ministers before they rise. Other things you're expecting is that you'd recall the House vetted 4 justices of the Supreme Court, the appointment committee in particular, about 2 months ago. They are expected to give the approval for that within the 5-day period. And again, one hint that we're getting is that they may withdraw the Ameri deal, the controversial Ameri deal that was brought to the House about 3 months ago. As to whether a new deal will be laid, that we are not too sure.
Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, parliamentary correspondent. Now, away from that, police in the central region have picked up a suspect in the murder of the security guard at Ebura Dunkwa. Chaos erupted in the town yesterday when angry youth burnt 5 houses belonging to some Malians in the town who they suspect were behind the killing of the security guard. This latest incident comes 3 weeks after the linguist in the town and his wife were killed in their home in the central region. Now, the Central Regional Police PRO, Irene Oseopong, tells Joy News the suspect is key in the ongoing investigation to unravel the mystery surrounding the death of the 56-year-old man.
Currently, as we said, the case is still under investigations. We have gathered some pieces of information as to the whereabouts of the suspect. So, police have proceeded to the scene and we are making all efforts to get them arrested.
Okay. So, have we arrested the suspect?
We have picked one person for interrogation for now.
What's the current situation now?
The security situation at Ebura Dunkwa is calm, is under control, and we have men patrolling the place, so there is no cause for alarm. The community members are going about their normal duties, so everything is okay.
Are we confident that the police will be on top of their game to apprehend the suspect and bring justice to especially the widow?
We are already on top of our issues and we are assuring the general public that we need their cooperation. We move with information. The suspects and perpetrators live with people in community and they know them. They should give us that information for us to move.
Let's speak to correspondent Richard Kojo-Nyako. Richard, what more do we know? Are there any latest revelations in this case?
Well, MFA, the police say they've been digging since the incident broke and they confirmed the arrest of one person as indicated by the police PRO who we just spoke with. And that person is assisting with investigation. I'm in the community presently and I cannot see the presence of the police in the community, unlike on Sunday where the police were everywhere ensuring that sanity prevailed in that community. But back to who really these foreign nationals are. The community members describe them as Zamama people because these people, they stay with them in the community. These are the people that sell about mobile phones and other things. They move around the community. But the police themselves are unable to confirm whether these nationals are Malians or they are from Niger because they keep using in one bed Niger and they keep using in another bed Malians. But they say that they are on top of their game and they will ensure that they get all those behind the killing of the security man.
Correspondent Richard Kojo-Nyako there. Let's head back to the Greater Accra region. Voices of scores of angry tanker drivers who gathered in front of the Tema Oil Refinery earlier today to register their frustrations over poor working conditions and distortions in their salaries. The drivers, all members of the Ghana National Tanker Drivers Union, say they will park their tankers until the National Petroleum Authority addresses concerns relating to their working conditions and welfare. The strike will mean petroleum products cannot be transported to fuel stations. Earlier this morning, some of the drivers massed up at the refinery demanding government heeds their concerns. We can hear some of them.
Ahead of their failed promises, we are not joking. We are giving government from today to Friday to resolve our issues. It's like government doesn't take us serious. We have complained about this same issue for more than a year.
You heard there some of the tanker drivers, and we understand it led to some chaos. It took fully armed personnel, believed to be from the national security, to restore the situation. Now, Nancy Emefa Dwadosi is there and joins us on the line with an update. Emefa, what's the latest where you are?
Right, Emefa, just about a minute ago, the police started firing somewhere. They started firing gas and shots into the air. I'm a bit confused right now because it was chaotic. It should be that the situation was so bad that people were peddling stones, they were throwing stones against the police had to also retaliate, and in order to maintain peace and order, also fire shots just to disperse the crowd. As I speak to you right now, the police still are holding their guns and are guarding the premises of the Tema Oil Refinery. The tanker drivers are also across the street, refusing to go back to where they're coming from, even though the police is trying so hard to sack them from the of the Tema Oil Refinery. But right now, they have managed to calm the area, and so there's a little bit of peace here at the Tema Oil Refinery.
Do stay safe, Nancy Emefa Dwadosi. Meanwhile, the National Petroleum Authority assures consumers of petroleum products there will be no fuel shortage in the country. Hassan Tampuli is chief executive of the authority.
The fears of shortages is unfounded. We have enough stocks in the country at the moment. We have diesel almost 5 weeks, petrol 5 weeks, LPG we have about 1 week, aviation fuel 3.5 weeks, and all of that. So we have enough products in the country, more than Malaysia has, as developers here. So we do not have any challenges with availability of products. What we are dealing with right now is the drivers, some drivers actually, because there's a rival driver union that is willing to work. And those guys are physically stopping them from working. As we speak right now, they've masked up in front of Tema Oil Refinery, and they are physically preventing, drivers who are willing to work.
So you're saying that there's a split on their front. Their front is divided.
In fact, some of them have even broken away because of all this strike. We have bus drivers who have set up their own group. We have girl drivers who have decided to dissociate themselves from it. We have drivers who are driving for engine and a whole lot of others. So a whole lot of them do not support this illegal strike. And they are now trying to physically stop them from loading. I just got off the phone with the Honorable as a concern. He's concerned about what's happening. We are going to send security reinforcement to allow those people who are willing to work. You have every right to go on strike, but those who do not want to support the strike have every right to also do their work.
Some assurance there from the Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, Hassan Tampuli, speaking to Joy News editor Araba Kumsin. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, equipment at the collapsed Aveime rice factory continue to deteriorate following what residents say is neglect by government after it halted operation 3 years ago. The state has a 60% stake in the company through GCB and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, but it's not worked for about 3 years now. The residents are asking government to revamp the factory to help provide jobs and reduce the country's dependence on imported rice. Joseph Opoku Gakbo visited the site and filed this report.
The company produced almost 9,000 tons of paddy rice a year, which it sold under the brand name Volta Rice with jasmine perfume and Tira varieties. But Proud Texas says government refusal to take responsibility for worn-out equipment made it impossible for them to attract fresh investment. John Van Dyke Mensah is one of the U.S. investors.
Because of failed government promises and deceptions, the assets that the government brought in were way overvalued. The assets were valued at $8 million. Why should that be a loan in your balance sheet?
The company closed down eventually in 2015. Planting and plowing tools as well as an aircraft that was used for spraying have all been left without use.
They are not in good shape and have been left to the mercy of the weather.
Joseph Opokugakwe's report. It's a good time to take a break. When we return, we begin the Joy News Safe Water Project with a tour of communities drinking very dirty water. We start from the village called Mango Tideke in the Agotime, Ziope district of the Volta region.
We drink and bathe with it. It is dirty, but our only option. Sometimes we filter this water for use.
And President Akufo-Addo admits the Ghanaian economy is going through a difficult patch and has dismissed concerns of a crisis. We'll be right back after the break.
Now, this very moment, it's the pulse of possibility, potential, power. It's time
to make your move.
To take that step.
The time
is now.
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 The great things you do tomorrow start with the small steps you take right now. So take that step with Old Mutual. Call us on 0302 230 638 and make now count. Old Mutual. Do great things every day.
It's time now for the latest from the world of sports. Ridwan Ibrahim Asante is in the studios.
Yes, MFI, it was such a tight weekend with Anthony Joshua winning his bout and remaining undefeated in boxing. In football, results came in something not which didn't favor Chelsea as they dropped points against West Ham. Man United also dropped points. There's more discussion on the weekend's round of activities on the sports track later to come. But first, Normalization Committee Vice President Lucy Quest says the 4-member team will need more support in bringing back football, Ghana football, to its normal state. Now, the team has already started work and are expected to meet clubs in resuming all football competitions in the country. Lucy Quest says they will need more support from members.
All four of us are truly honored to take on this responsibility. It's no mean responsibility. It is a lot of work, but we're honored to be chosen as the people, really as the face of normalizing Ghana's football. But you and I all know that it will take hundreds of people for that to actually happen. Hundreds of brain power, insight, passion, interest, dedication, actual work. This is about work that we have to do to create or reorganize our country's football into what we believe is possible. It's not about getting back to business as usual or restoration. It's about reformation. And that's what we're about.
Lucy Quest there for you. That's your sports for the afternoon.
Thank you very much, Ridwan Ibrahim Asante. Time now for Safe Water Project here on Joy News. Now, Mango Tideke is a community where water is randomly easy to find in the ground, but portable drinking water remains an elusive luxury. Joy News' Gifty Ando Apia has been following development in this village for close to 6 years and now reports on the water situation there as part of the Joy News Safe Water Project, an agenda to shine light on the lack of potable water in communities across the country.
I have come back to Mango Tideke in 2018 to find out what has changed. The stream from which they drew water has been made a mini dam by someone who bought the land looking to start a plantation. She has forbidden them from coming close to her dam.
They drilled a borehole for us, but the water isn't flowing.
The new borehole he is referring to is close by, and I find a woman struggling to get water from it with pans lined up in a queue. They tell me these big pans have been here for over a week. Their fruitless efforts have led them to another source of water in the bush. The water here is worse than what they drew from the previous stream they showed me in 2012. If that water looked like milkless tea, this water looks like a millet beverage. It is a brownish cocktail of soil, rotten wood and water.
We drink and bathe with it. It is dirty, but our only option. The borehole doesn't flow. Sometimes we filter this water for use. When I see the DCE, I'll tell him to come and use this water. If it's not good for him, then he should drill another borehole for us.
Maupamo is a mother of 4. She has come to fetch water from this irrigation dam. For this quality of water, Maupamo and her friends have walked about 2 kilometers to and fro. They do this more than twice every day.
Gifty Ando Apia joins me in the studio. 6 years, quite a long time. But what has changed since the last time you visited the area?
So what has changed actually since 2012 has been that they've had another borehole. But the thing is that it appears there's a general problem that can be solved with engineering, because you construct the borehole, but water doesn't flow. That seems to be the problem. And so they have to resort to the dirty water that they're drinking. MFA, what has happened again is that the government has changed. So there's a new DCE from the DCE that I was interacting with earlier to help find a solution to this problem. Now, that new DCE, I spoke to him. He says they're working on it. But of course, you know how these things go. But we'll still keep an eye on it. The contrast here, though, is that even though the village is not far from Ho, which is the regional capital, it's not also far from the district assembly itself, where there's plenty of water, treated water, in fact, some of which is used to flush the water closet toilets there.
What's the contrast there? But where do you live and what is the situation where you are? You may want to send us a WhatsApp at 0244340437 or Joy News. You send us a mail to joynewsroom@myjoyonline.com. Now, more than 20% of the country lacks access to electricity. For many of such areas, access to healthcare too becomes a challenge as clinics and hospitals are unable to operate effectively. But in the Setre, Afram Plains district of the Ashanti region, however, the story is now changing as solar-powered mini-grid systems are turning things around. In our climate series, telling the stories of a climate-smart business, Love FM's Prince Apia shares the story of Black Star Energy.
Black Star Energy has taken up the challenge to provide mini-grids to many off-grid communities through solar. It is filling the important gaps in Ghana's rural electrification program. Nicole Poindexter is the CEO.
Our company, Black Star Energy, we are motivated by providing electricity to any community that needs it and wants it. And what we do is we provide electricity that is affordable, reliable, sustainable, and
70 households in Mimpekasa, 63 households at Nyamiama number 1 and 2, Konkori, Kofubekume, Kofubi Krom, Dabain, Katapie, Nyamebeche number 2, and others are all beneficiaries of their project. Customers benefit not just by having lights, but by being able to improve their economic well-being through solar electricity. In Katapie in the Hafano North District, before August 2017, residents had no electricity. The Black Star Energy Revolution is one turning the local economy around. The community has a corn mill powered by Black Star Energy. Abna Mesuji is a farmer and together with her son operates the only corn mill in the community. Frederick Texing is the longest serving staff nurse at the Anteric Clinic at Nyamiama number 1.
Prince Apia's report there will bring you the full report in our subsequent bulletins. Now, President Akufo-Addo has admitted that the Ghanaian economy is going through a difficult patch, but has dismissed concerns of a crisis. Speaking to the Ghanaian community in New York, the president acknowledged a difficulty with what he terms a significant and rapid depreciation of the cedi.
Two related but totally unexpected events have occurred that have also put a lot of pressure on people at home. One has been the dramatic increase in crude oil prices that we've seen. The budget, last November's budget, budgeted for a $57 per barrel crude, is today at $78. So you can imagine the pressures that in itself has brought on the budget. And it is taking place also at a time when the United States dollar has also strengthened considerably in the foreign exchange markets of the world. It has led to a significant, rapid depreciation of our cedi, which the Bank of Ghana is now having to fight. But ultimately, we have to approach the foreign exchange matter, medium to long term, by expanding our supply base. It's not a crisis.
President Akufo-Addo. Now, the two-time winners of the National Maths and Science Kwezo Pokuwari Senior High School will clash with Konongo Odumasi Senior High School later today in the third contest of the Love FM High School debate. Yasantua and St. Louis Senior High Schools have already booked their places in the quarterfinal stage of the competition for 16 selected schools. They edged out Kumasi Girls Senior High School and Akrofrom Senior High Technical, respectively, in last Friday's opening encounters. Here are excerpts from the Yasantua Kumasi Girls contest on the topic, government is to blame for recent collapse of some banks.
Distinguished guests of honor, bold and impartial panel of judges, the timekeeper, co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Representing the elite institution, Yasantua Girls Senior High School, I am Precious Akia Enchi, principal speaker against the motion, and I quote, the government is to be blamed for the collapse of banks, unquote. The chair, before I commence with my argument, please permit me to explain certain key terms to the benefit of my lovely audience. According to the Business Dictionary, a bank is an establishment that is authorized by government to clear checks, accept deposits, and act as an intermediary in financial transactions between its customers. According to the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, to collapse means to fail completely or suddenly. And also, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, a government is a group of people set aside to manage the affairs of a nation.
Don't get it wrong, it's not a politician, it's a student from the Yasantua Girls. Now, the contest between Opoku Ware and Konongo Odumasi Senior High School starts in about 30 minutes. We'll bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Memefa Apau. Thanks for your company.